Alright, so we're doing the deep back and then the arm today. If you take your rabbit, put him on his belly, and then put the elbows together so you can kind of stretch that out, you should have the back together. And all you're going to do is take your scalpel and cut down the center and then peel the acromial and the clavotrapezius off. And when you do that, you'll get this triangle shape in the middle between the shoulder blades, and that is the rhomboideus. And if you want, you can kind of follow those fibers around, kind of pick at them a little bit. On the shoulder blade or the scapula, you're going to see that there's this spine that runs through there. So this whole thing is our scapula, and then there's this bone that runs through there. Above the bone is the supraspinatus, and then below the bone is the infraspinatus. So supra meaning above, and then infra meaning below. Next, you're going to find the latissimus dorsi, and then you're going to cut along that line so you can expose your ribs, and then you're going to kind of pick the fat off, and then with your scalpel, you're going to rest it on the rib, and you're just going to kind of gently work it back and forth so it's parallel to the ribs, perpendicular to the ribs, so it's kind of resting there. It'll be parallel to this muscle. Okay, and when you do that, this top part will peel back, and that is your external intercostal. And the reason it's called the external intercostal is because external meaning on the outside, inter between, cos meaning ribs, so it's the muscle that's between the ribs, but it's on the outside. That means that this muscle on the inside is the internal intercostal. So again, inside, between the ribs, internal intercostal. So that concludes the deep back. Then we get to the arm. When you do your arm, first thing you're going to do is you are going to take your scapula, and then you're just going to kind of cut at the tendon. Again, if you keep this kind of parallel to the muscle and cut, it works out pretty good, and then you can just peel that back. The other thing that you can do on this side is you're just going to kind of work this back and forth with a probe or your forceps and kind of remove that connective tissue in there. So this muscle right here, this is the tricep brachii lateral head because it's towards the outside. This muscle is the tricep brachii long head, and this is the long or the big muscle for the tricep. On the inside, there's a muscle that kind of sits along the entire arm there, and it's called the epitrochleus. And you're going to take your scapula and again run parallel, cut it off at the tendon or at the elbow, and peel that back. You do not need to know this muscle, but this is the epitrochleus, epi meaning outer or the covering there. And then once you have that, again, you can kind of work back and forth, breaking up that connective tissue. So again, this is still our lateral head. Okay, so that's the same muscle, tricep brachii lateral head. But now you're able to see the tricep brachii medial head. Medial means towards the midline, so this is the medial head, this is the lateral head. This large muscle here, this fat muscle right there, that is your bicep brachii, so the bicep brachii. And then the last muscle that you need to know is the brachialis. And if you look, it kind of runs from the humerus onto the forearm. So that is our brachialis. Okay, be careful when you're removing the connective tissues that you don't tear this off because it is a pretty small muscle. But again, that is the brachialis.